My name is Rita. Purple, Transgender Day of Remembrance. This is the color of my grief. And this is the color of my hope. I want to explain to you what it's like when you're other. I want to explain to you what it's like to be on both sides of the issue, both as the person that's bereaved and in great peril, and as the person who suffers from suicide ideations. I'm going to give you a new term right now. Write this one in your hearts. We have alcoholics, right? We have addicts. I am a suicidic. It's been 0 days since my last suicide ideation. I want to connect to your hearts, heart to heart, one-on-one. I'll share with you what it's like living the hell. And I'm going to tell you about the ones that I grieve. And I'm going to take you to a very dark place, but then I'm going to take you to hope. So please stay and listen for the hope. My PowerPoint, I want you to see me wearing it. "77% of those of us with a gender identity issue that are trans have had a serious suicide ideation. 77%. Me. 61% of us, male to female, trans persons, suffer from depression. Serious depression. You know where it's from? The outside. That's what I want you to know. It's from the outside. 61%. 43%. 43% of trans persons have attempted. No, let's change the word. 43% have either succumbed or have had to been rescued from succumbing to suicide. We need to change language, and we're going to do that here today. Just hold this one here for a minute. A few myths, a few things we have wrong. We need to change in our viewpoint so we can properly help. A person does not commit suicide. Suicide is not a choice. Suicide is depression and despair and anguish at its fullest. I'll tell you what it feels like. We succumb. A person that goes swimming and they get out too far and they drown. Do we say they committed drowning? Do we take someone that dies of cancer and they've been smoking all their life? Do we say they committed cancer? Then why are you going to tell me the one I lost committed suicide? Here's the truth. It's every day choosing not to. That's what it is. Every day choosing not to. Not today. Sometimes you can go long periods. It's like a person recovering from alcoholism. You ever see an alcoholic that'll tell you, I'm cured? I'm a suicidal. I will be recovering all my life. Every day, choosing not to. Today. Sometimes it's easy. Other times, it's hour by hour. Sometimes it's the crisis of the moment, trying to find that strength. It's like you're swimming in an angry ocean. You've been trying so hard to keep your head above water. You're getting so tired. You just can't swim anymore. Not something you commit. It's a place you get yourself into. A place that we are driven into. Can you imagine every day being challenged for who you are? It's my reality. I want to tell you about 3 ones that I've lost that have impacted my life so severely. And thank goodness there's a picture of a police officer up there because I want to bring this point to you. We live in a virtual world now. We know people online. We know of people online. I've been told, someone I'm grieving for, why? You didn't know her. You didn't know her. Tell me, if that's the case, what right does any of us have to go to a Remembrance Day ceremony? Why do we have a right to grieve? And a person like that on the screen, a police officer, falls in the line of duty. We don't know them. And why is my grief and my loss discounted? Because I didn't know the person. First person, I'm going to give you 3 different ones. The first one, local, right here in Sudbury. Her name is Melissa Ross. August 20th, 2014. I knew Melissa not well, but we'd spent a few pleasant times together. We did this project with the Greater Sudbury Police Services, which are to be commended, bringing trans awareness to the police force, and we changed the world. Melissa worked with us on that project and on the videos that came out of it. There was one part of the video that had to be done specifically for the police services, and that was going through the whole booking and jail scene. And I was waiting for someone to say, are you going to do it? Melissa stepped up and she did it. Sweet, sweet girl. She did the thing that I dreaded doing. We didn't have much contact After that, her life is one thing, mine's another. You know how it is, right? I go to Suicide Prevention Day, Memorial Park right here in Sudbury. A rainy day. I'm going down there because those figures you saw, the losses are horrendous. And I go down there and I meet Melissa's two friends. I'm standing in there in the grass chatting with them. And they tell me Melissa's gone. She succumbed. A woman is up on the stage saying, "Please don't call it committing suicide." I go cold there in the rain and the damp. And they tell me, Melissa was pleasant. She sent them out, they were out doing whatever. When they came back, there she was, gone. Melissa had no family that would claim her. Rejection. We'll talk about that in a minute. Her body's at Laurentian Hospital, the morgue. They have to move it. Her two friends had to build the box she went in and borrow a friend's pickup truck to take her to the crematorium. Alone. I wasn't able to help. I didn't even know. This one. The next one. Kyle Scanlon from Toronto, 519 Rainbow Health, Ontario. What a dynamic young man. Working so hard. A pillar, the one to look up to. Superman, the one we all depend on. He succumbed. I do kind of a similar work, much, not nearly as well. I learned there is no amount of advocacy you can do that can keep you from the cliff. There's no amount of advocacy that you can substitute for what needs to happen to keep you from drowning. What does it say about all the stuff I do? Is that my safety? No. Third one. This is the one that it's the one that did it for me. Copy it down on a piece of paper. Her name is Leela Alcorn. L-E-E-L-A-H. Leela. L-E-E-L-A-H. Alcorn. A-L-C-O-R-N. Please go look up her story. Leela, December 28th, 2014. Leaves her home at 2:30 in the morning, walks over to the interstate, Kings Mill, Ohio. Walks over to the interstate, steps out in front of a transport truck, succumbs to suicide. She drowns in the front of a truck. 2 days later, her suicide note is posted on the internet. She was more tech savvy than me. Some Instagram thingy or something automated. It posted it. You need to read it. You need to read it. For those that are religious here, please bear with me. not slandering anything in religion, but you need to understand this very religious family. Put her through conversion therapy. See, here's the other falsehood. I chose to be who I am. This is a choice. This is a lifestyle. No, it's not. I cannot choose not to be me. I spent years in denial trying to do that, trying to run from it. And I couldn't. Leila was put through conversion therapy. In her note, she makes this plea. Fix society, please. Fix society, please. That's Leila. It's Leila. I found out New Year's Eve on the internet. You see, like most here in Northern Ontario, I present to you as my true self now. It's the woman I am. But for my family, I cross-dress as the male they need so badly. I don't remember New Year's Eve. I'm stunned. Happy New Year, right? Loss. Let me tell you what loss like that is like. It's like somebody rips a huge part out of you and then blames you for it. And then they keep hitting the wound. And they expect you to just function. This year, you got to see this poster. This year, Timmins Pride Parade. Went up there for that, where we go up for it. I'm sitting near the stage and the speeches and things are going on. I'm in a lawn chair. And this mother and this little girl, about, probably 11, 12 years old, standing there. And the little girl has got a look of anxiety on her face. And the mother is telling her, it's okay, go up and talk to her, pointing to me. And I turn sideways and I see that. And I beckon her over. Come on over, the mom and dad. She had this poster. She'd made herself. It says, together we can change the world. It says, in memory, trans lives matter. Loss. She lost someone. Her anxiety was so high, she wanted to come and ask me if I would carry this in the parade for her. I carried it in that parade. I carried it in Elliott Lake. I carried it in Sudbury, and God willing, I'm going to carry this in every parade going forward. Her grief is real. She is bereaved. Don't tell me online isn't real. Let's go through some words. Stigma. You want to know why so many of our First Nations brothers and sisters succumb to suicide? Let's put the word out there. Let's call it what it is. Stigma. Where does it come from? Don't worry, the good part's coming. Judgment. Judgment. Oh, we all hear the platitudes, right? We shouldn't judge. I'm not here to judge, blah, blah, blah. which is just a nice way of saying, I'm going to judge you ever so politely. Are we to judge? Yes. But what are we to judge? Don't judge what I am. Judge who I am as a person. What brings up this judgment? Where do we get it from? The first word I'm going to use is ignorance. Let's be careful with the word. There's two kinds of ignorance. There's a benign ignorance. You just didn't know. That's a benign one. But there's another one that's far more insidious. Willful ignorance. When you refuse to listen. That one is harder. That's why I want to connect heart to heart. Let's put aside these things. What about our preconceptions? You know, the things we grow up with and we're told. Our preconceptions. How do they make a barrier to listening? What about our prejudices? Who in this room has prejudices? I grew up in the same society as all of you. I'm as guilty as anyone. I need to acknowledge that. The only way you can rectify a prejudice is acknowledge the possibility that it's there and be willing to listen, to do something about it. Denial. Leela's parents denied she was trans. They denied her name, they denied her identity. She was buried as a male under a male name because it was against their religion to acknowledge otherwise. Kind of religion kills, doesn't it? In a more excruciating way than a bullet or a knife. Imagine something so awful that you turn your own hand against yourself. Denial. Deny me my name. Deny me my place as a woman. Oh, we're still battling this in the Senate of Canada, by the way. Federally, they don't want to acknowledge me. I'm going to go by what's in my pants instead of what's in my heart. Denial kills. Rejection. Did you know that 25% of LGBTQ youth are put out of their homes or drove out of their homes because of the judgments and things I've told you about? Rejected by their own family. Melissa? Rejected by her own family. Rejected in the workplace. Rejected in a coffee shop by the look on someone's face. Rejection. Rejection. Over half of trans kids can no longer live at home. I'm startled at the number that come from a religious background. I need to talk to the churches. Now I'm going to give you the biggest problem we have. And why I'm saying what I am today. Silence. Talk about anything but. Talk about anything but silence. There is nothing louder and more deafening than this kind of silence. That's why we're here today. Break that. Now for the good stuff. Have you ever seen this before? It's on your keyboard. No, really? Anybody? What is it? What does a semicolon mean in a sentence? There we go, our little literary genius here. What it says in the sentence is, the thought's not over. What does this say? Done. Look for these. You'll see these people with this tattoo. Maybe discreetly someplace on their body, maybe on their arm or on their hand, to remind them it is not over. We suicidics will put that on our body to remind ourselves it is not over. I am going to go on another day. It is not going to end here. When you see this, you will know what heart you've met. This is hope. Okay, what are we going to do about all this? Oops, sorry, I'm all done. Sorry. What are we going to do about all this? I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to begin the conversation. I'm going to ask you to write 2 things on a piece of paper very quickly right now. I want you to write uncomfortable, and I want you to write awkward. Just quickly write them down. Then I want you to take this word and write it in the palm of your right hand, either with a pen or just even with your finger, trace out the letters, only if you mean it. You want to know how to change the world? I'm going to tell you how. By daring to reach past your fear, to be uncomfortable for my sake, to dare to be awkward for my sake, and to ask me, and to listen, so that the silence is broken. What do you need to know? Love. Reaching out, touching a soul. Daring not to know, but saying, tell me anyway. Valuing the person I've lost. Acknowledging them for who they are. Here's what's going to happen. When you do that, when you dare to be awkward, when you reach out with your hand of love, when you confront your own preconceptions, when you judge rightly and fairly and call others to task to do the same, when you admit There's more to know than what you had believed. When you smile at me at the coffee shop, nod your head, and say hi. When you reach out and talk to me. We are changing the world.